It's no secret that Terapagos is much less terrifying than its original sketch we see in the Scarlet and Violet books, but maybe there's a reason for this. Its original artwork shows it nearing the size of an entire planet. This little guy doesn't look like he's the size of a planet, he doesn't even look like he could hurt a fly, but this guy is responsible for the deaths of Professor Seda and Churro. This little guy's a murderer, so what if he had a second form? A prominent leaker in the Pokemon community has come forth with some information about a new form for certain Pokemon. Back in November, he showed an image with Mega Evolution, Z-moves, Gigantamax, and Terastallization, asking us to spot the difference. A few theories have been floating around, but the leaker themselves decided to spill the beans. They state that Mega Evolution is the only one that's exclusive to a limited amount of Pokemon, while others got both public and privileged facets on Pokemon selection. To explain this, Mega Evolution is only available for certain Pokemon, whereas any Pokemon can use Z-moves or Dynamax, but certain Pokemon get access to unique Z-moves or Gigantamax forms. Similarly, the leaker is stating that while every Pokemon gets access to Terastallization, only a select few will get access to a special kind of Terastallization, specifically a second form that gets unlocked when that Pokemon Terastallizes into a certain type. The leaker stated that a decent amount of Pokemon will be receiving forms like this, so I thought I'd go over some likely candidates. First up are the Paldean starters Meowscarada, Skeledirge, and Quavel. Since the Galarian starters all got G-Max forms in the Isle of Armor, it's definitely possible that the Paldean starters could get some love in their DLC too. They'd have to Terastallize into a specific type, however. It could focus on their original typing or perhaps their secondary typing. I actually think it would be quite cool if they lean into their secondary typing. I mean, like really pushing the ghostly aspect of Skeledirge. You know, the dark typing on Meowscarada, the fighting type for Quavel. Depending on how these forms work, this could make Meowscarada and Skeledirge even more terrifying competitively. If this boosts their base stats, it would allow Meowscarada to be even faster and hit even harder with its guaranteed crits, and it would heighten Skeledirge's stat boosts even further. Assuming that Nemona, Arven, Penny, and Geeta get to follow you around in the DLC, it wouldn't be too crazy to assume that their Pokemon receive these forms too. Nemona's ace is always the starter that's weak to your starter, and we've already talked about that, but Nemona also carries around a Pawmot for the entirety of the game. I think Pawmot getting a form like this would be really great to make its design just a little bit more, crazy or exaggerated, perhaps leaning more into the fighting type and pushing it further away from just being another Pikachu clone. Arven's ace is Mabosstiff, and besides a higher base stat total, there's not too much that Mabosstiff could benefit from here. Maybe the Grass Terra type could physically show the effects of the Herba Mystica on Mabosstiff's body, but that wouldn't exactly make much sense for any Mabosstiff that isn't Arven's. Penny's known for her Eevee-Lucian team, and I think a regular Eevee with a new Terraform could be a great twist. Some players have inferred that Penny was meant to have a connection with the Dragon type due to the fact that she gives you the TM for Draco Meteor, so maybe a Dragon Terra type Eevee would suit her here. Geeta's team would obviously have a new Terraform for Glamora. This also ties it in with the Pokemon's connection to Area Zero and will perhaps allow it to more closely resemble the Terra Crystals seen in the crater. More possible candidates for a new Terraform would include Pikachu, since it's the mascot, alongside Armarouge, Ceruledge, Cyclizar, Golden Go, Koraidon, and Miraidon. Moving on to the DLCs, three obvious candidates are Okidogi, Munkidori, and Fazandipiti. There are countless theories floating around that these three will be your new starter Pokemon in the region of Kitakami, and with their designs matching the grass, water, and fire types, it's safe to assume that these Terra types could bring out a stronger version of these Pokemon. As the wielder of the teal mask, Ogerpon is probably the second most likely candidate for a new Terraform. Its mask even has Terra Crystals on it. It's believed that Ogerpon is based on the Japanese folklore story of Momotaro, or Peach Boy in English. Wikipedia summarizes the story. Momotaro was born from a giant peach which was found floating down a river by an old, childless woman who was washing clothes there. The child explained that he had been bestowed by the gods to be their son. The couple named him Momotaro. Momotaro left his parents to fight a band of Oni who marauded over their land. Momotaro met and befriended a talking dog, monkey, and pheasant who agreed to help him in his quest in exchange for a portion of his rations. In the story, Ogerpon will be the Oni that Momotaro is tasked with fighting. Since the dark type is often associated with evil Pokemon, a dark Terraform could fit Ogerpon. Terapagos, on the other hand, is a bit of a hard Pokemon to stick a type to, since, it represents all 18 types. Assuming it transforms into its depiction from the Scarlet and Violet books, it's possible that its planet form would represent the rock or ground type. Perhaps its connection to space would link it to the psychic or fairy type, type, or perhaps it gains this special form for any type it terastallizes into. I'm definitely not sure about this theory, but let me know what you think in the comments. Oh, this could also apply to Walking, Wake, and Iron Leaves, because they don't really look like how they were drawn in the Scarlet and Violet books. Looking through the leaked DLC Pokedex, there are a few contenders here too. If you want to see the full list in detail, I made a video on it, and it features almost every Pokemon that will return in the DLC. Obviously, most of the old starters and legendaries are returning, so they're all candidates for new Terraforms. Flygon could receive a new form since they were considering giving it a Mega Evolution in Generation 6. We've seen other pseudo-legendary Pokemon receive special forms before, so Metagross could be in the running too, along with the pseudo-legendaries already in the game. With Rampardos and Bastiodon returning, it could be a cool opportunity to see versions of these Pokemon that more accurately reflect what these Pokemon could have looked like before being fossilized. Similarly, Porygon Z could benefit from a Terraform to showcase what Porygon 3 would have looked like. More possible candidates include Chandelure, Kommo-o, and Minior. If you made it through to the end of the video, thank you for watching, I really appreciate it. If you want to subscribe, I've got a bunch more videos like this, I'm planning a bunch more too. It's gonna be amazing. Subscribing would really help me out.